come in, sir?
Yes, come in. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Are you vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
No signs and symptoms of COVID?
No, sir.
You may remove your mask.
Thank you, sir.
Please introduce yourself to the board.
My name is Shivangi Goel. I come from Plakhua, Hapur district in Uttar Pradesh state. I have done my graduation in BCom Honours from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University. Thereafter, I started preparing for civil services, and one day I wish to become a civil servant, sir.
Okay, Shivangi, which year did you pass out from Sri Ram College?
Sir, I passed out in 2012, sir.
12?
Yes, sir.
And since then you have been preparing for the civil services?
No, sir. In 2014, I took my interview with UPSC, and then thereafter I was married, sir. Again, I started preparing in 2019, sir.
Okay. Today is 21st April, isn't it? What is the importance of 21st April?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware of it.
You're not aware that this National Civil Service Day falls on 21st April only. The service which you are aspiring to join, so it was born this day only. So in 1947 on 21st April, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he announced and he said that bureaucracy should be like a steel frame of India.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? When he said it should be like a steel frame of India, what did he mean by that?
I believe because at the time of independence, there were concerns to our unity, sir, and integration. So basically, the expectation from civil services was that it will help India to remain united and to become cohesive, and it will help in national integration, sir. So therefore, it was believed to be as a steel frame, keeping the nation together.
He was not referring to the country as a whole as a steel frame. It was with reference to the bureaucracy. He said bureaucracy should be like a steel frame.
Yes, sir.
Can you draw any conclusion based on this statement? How bureaucracy should look like? Steel frame is a word only. What does it convey?
So I believe it is the strength of the nation, keeping it together and taking it forward in the path of development, sir.
Okay. Do you really feel that since 1947, 75 years has almost passed, so bureaucracy has been able to retain its very essence of a steel frame, or it has been corroded?
So to a large extent, civil services has lived up to its expectations, but there are certain reforms that are needed in this structure, and so we have to move in this direction.
What reforms you have in mind which needs to be done?
So we have to, firstly, for the civil services, we have to make it more empathetic. And secondly, sir, we have to work towards increasing more accountability in the services. Thirdly, sir, we have to make it more people-centric.
So today's bureaucracy is neither accountable nor it has empathy. This is what you want to say.
So as a system, we need to improve it. Though our Indian civil services has accountability standards and also empathy, but there is need to enhance it further.
How will you enhance? Suppose if you become a member of the Indian Administrative Service, what is your vision of enhancing the quality of civil services based on these two parameters?
Okay. So for the aspect of accountability, so we have as civil servants, we have to implement civil citizen charter well. It should be printed on our government buildings in local languages, simple, precise terms, so that people are aware, like what are the services they can expect out of the services. So for the aspect of empathy, so I believe there should be, while during training, that civil servants should be made to realize a larger mission for which this services is there in the first place, so that we can, there's a more emphasis on listening to people, addressing their felt needs and addressing them, sir.
There is a perception that civil services of the country has outlived its utility, and we should think out of box to create a new set of civil servants who can really take India forward to the dreams and aspirations of the country, to fulfill the dreams and aspirations of the country. Do you agree with this perception?
So this perception is there, but We do not need to change the entire structure as such. Reforms are needed, sir. Yes, definitely. But we do not need to move towards a new structure altogether, sir.
How do you, as a citizen of the country, how do you react when you find a student of history, he gets into the civil services, Indian administrative service, in course of time he becomes head of the department like health, a non-engineering graduate heading an engineering department, a student of history is heading the science and technology department. How do you react to this phenomenon?
Yes, sir. So, there is the aspect of not having specialization and domain expertise. So, but during the course of civil services itself, a civil servant learns on the job. There are training sessions and the valuable experience that the one person gets, and also at the level of administration, sir. So, there is need of having a general perspective also, because even in health, so there are relations with society, with technology. So, it's a multi-dimensional aspect in civil services. So, even a person coming from a specialized background, they can contribute to general administration also equally well, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Shivangi, I would like to understand, you are graduated in such a great institution called SRCC. Why you have taken sociology as an optional instead of commerce?
Sir, in 2012, there were two optionals that we have to take. So, first optional was my commerce itself, and the second was my sociology I had to take, sir. So, though the syllabus changed and we were required to take only one optional, there was a scope of decision here. So, I realized that sociology gives me a more coverage with my GS syllabus and also with my essay paper, sir. So, because I have already given 1 year of to prepare both, so I realized I have the basic material. So, let me take a subject which is helping me with my other subjects also, sir. So, that's why I picked up sociology, sir.
My next question would be from sociology. What is socialization, Shivangi?
Socialization is the process by which a young person, basically learns the culture and the social aspects of the society in which he or she is living, sir.
How socialization works as a determinant of ethics?
So, socialization has a great role to develop our value system and how we implement them in a particular specific situation, sir. So, in terms of we learn from our family, we learn from the education system, sir, and our larger community also. So, they all together develop the value system, and when they are played out, it leads to ethics, sir.
Okay. It is said that a household is required for a family, and there should be a geographical area for the society. Can society exist under one roof or under a household? What is your take?
So, society as is basically a network of individuals and groups. And so, within this, household is one institution. So, family can exist even without a household or with a household, sir. So, society is a larger perspective, larger group, is a larger phenomena. So, it may exist with or without a household, sir.
So, we are working here as a family or society? What is your opinion?
So, I believe we are working here as society, because family has also connotations of informal face-to-face relations and diffusive relationships.
Got it. You practice yoga, right? Aurobindo Ghosh was a propounder of Purna Yoga. Purna Yoga means doing something for self-interest as well as social interest simultaneously. Can you put an example or one or two examples in bureaucracy how a civil servant proceed for self-interest as well as social interest? Just think for a while, then speak out. No issue.
Thank you, sir.
Should I rephrase or you got it?
Sir, I have understood the questions. I am trying to articulate my answer, sir.
Done.
So, I believe in one area where civil servants can actually create personal value as well as larger social value is environmental sustainability, sir. So, because environment, it not only affects our well-being, our health, but also it impacts society, especially the vulnerable sections like clean water, clean air. So if we can maintain as civil servants those things, it will be beneficial for both my person as well as my society, sir.
Good. Compare track 2 diplomacy with 2+2 diplomacy.
So please, I did not get it.
Can you compare track 2 diplomacy with 2+2 diplomacy?
Okay, sir. So track 2 diplomacy is basically informal grouping, informal discussion.
Only informal? The other line of communication can be formal or not?
So it includes academia, research, think tanks, and so 2+2 is a very formal, organized communication involving the defense ministers as well as foreign affairs ministers of two countries in a bilateral setup, sir.
Okay. What are the outcomes of 2+2 diplomacy with respect to India's relation with the United States of America?
So recently we had this 2+2 dialogue with USA. So in this, the outcome was the basic outcome, I believe, is the mature way in which India and US could handle its differences with regard to Russia and Ukraine war. And moreover, our commitment to have to look into the larger perspective, larger interest which combine India and US. So in terms of space technology, emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and cyber technologies, etc. sir. So this is the main outcome, I believe, of this 2+2 dialogue between India and US, sir.
Just you use the term citizen charter for the enhancement of accountability in the administration. Can you tell me in details what is the other benefits of citizen charter?
Okay. So the benefits of citizen charter firstly is clarity that it gives to the citizens about the services they can expect, sir. So second is they get the time frame and also the expected quality of standards that they can expect, sir. So thirdly, because our organization is giving out its commitment, so it will also lead to organization being enhanced in terms of its capacity, human resources, technological strength. So that will help in service delivery, sir. So fourth is, so it is a step towards accountability, creating accountability, sir. So these are the benefits, sir.
It's a kind of contract. It's a contract between citizen and administration. Do you believe it's a ethical contract or some sort of legal contract?
So as of now, presently, there is no legal backing to citizen charter in India. So it is more in the domain of responsibility, ethical responsibility of state towards its citizens, sir.
Who coined the term firstly citizen charter?
So I'm not aware of the who coined the term, but it emerged in United Kingdoms as a phenomenon, sir.
John Major, the Prime Minister.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Shivangi.
Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of Shivangi?
So Shivangi is a word made of two words, Shiva plus Angi. So it basically means half part of Lord Shiva or the another name of Goddess Parvati, sir.
So what kind of characteristics or qualities you developed according to your name?
So the quality of dedication to my work, my selected goal, my preparation for my civil services. Secondly, also self-respect, sir, self-dignity in trying situations, sir.
Okay, very good. So, in which ways you can consider Constitution of India as a social document?
So, Constitution of India is a social document in the sense of firstly the democracy itself. So, because democracy gives one person, one value and one vote. So, for an unequal society that India has been traditionally, so it was a social revolution, silent social revolution, sir. So, secondly, also fundamental rights which give to citizens certain basic guarantees through which they can develop their political as well as moral and economic well-being. So, third is also the charter that the Constitution gives to the state, which they should keep in mind while making its policies and laws in the form of the directive principles of state policy, sir. So, all this, if we are able to achieve them, so it will be a big social revolution for our society, sir.
No, which part of the Constitution of India is investigates the social characteristics or social equalities? In which part of the Constitution of India?
social equalities. So we have the fundamental right 14, sir, right to equality, sir, which also goes to fundamental article 15, as well as we have the abolition of untouchability in India, sir. And along with this, sir, there is a universal adult franchise, like everyone has a right to vote, sir.
Directive principles of a state policy?
Yes, sir, that is also there, sir.
What is characteristics of post-modern society?
So, postmodern society is an emerging concept in sociology, social sciences, which actually questions science or the excess of science. It calls for the return to emotions and the irrational part of humans and societies as a whole, sir.
In which ways the concept of dharma is different from religion?
Yes, sir. So, concept of dharma is about ethics, sir. And religion is an organized institution in a body. So, while one can not be believing in any religion, but dharma applies to everyone in every situation, sir. And dharma is something which leads to social well-being. But sometimes, unfortunately, we have also seen religion creating wars and conflict in society, sir.
What is Sanskritization?
So, Sanskritization is a concept which is evolved by prominent sociologist M.N. Srinivasa. So, it is basically the process by which the lower castes or the other groups, including tribal groups, they try to emulate the ideas, the way of lifestyle of the upper caste, especially the twice-born caste, in order to enhance their social status. It is a process basically aimed at social mobility, sir.
So, do you think that according to this instrument, social condition changed?
So, for a number of groups, individual groups, there was social mobility, but there has been concerns that this concept as a whole does not change the structural inequalities as a whole. In fact, it strengthens it. For particular individual groups, it might bring mobility, but not as a structure as a whole, sir.
Shivangi,
yes, ma'am.
You are an interesting candidate. Everyone knows that you have very high perseverance. As you told us, you started preparing for the exam in 2012 or 13,
yes,
correct?
Ma'am, correct.
And we are in 2022 now. But Shivangi, I am just afraid that this being your 5th attempt means you're a slow learner when it comes to learning from your mistakes. What do you have to say about it?
Ma'am, actually, this is not the 5th attempt in continuity. There was a break due to my being married and having a baby. So, therefore, there was a break. And in this process, the examination itself has evolved in terms of its level of concepts or basic demands of the examination, ma'am. So, yes, it took me time to realize the differences that were coming in the exam pattern, to make changes in my own preparation strategy for the same, but it has also helped me to learn deeper into the subject because I was so determined to clear it. So, I delved deeper. So, I think it has enhanced my quality as a aware citizen of India, ma'am.
Shivangi, talking about marriage and you being a student of sociology, please tell me what is the future of marriage as an institution in India?
Ma'am, in India, though there are changes which are coming in the institution of marriage, but it is going to be a strong institution because largely as a society,
with increasing number of divorce and people not getting married or staying in live-in relationships, you still feel that it's going to be a strong institution?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it is still going to be a strong institution, ma'am, because even if there is a delay in marriages or there are increasing rates of divorce, but there is also a tendency of getting remarried or serial monogamy, as they say, ma'am. But yes, it will stay strong, ma'am, because this institution has a lot of very strong benefits attached to this institution, ma'am.
Like, name 3 benefits.
Ma'am, the benefits of marriage as a social institution include, firstly, it gives you a social stability, social status, ma'am. Secondly, ma'am, it is a good institution for the upbringing of children.
Okay.
And
Third.
also, ma'am, thirdly, it also regulates a social behavior, ma'am.
All right. Shivangi, you come from Uttar Pradesh. Please tell me 3 major industries that get FDI in Uttar Pradesh. You know what FDI is, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in Uttar Pradesh, we are getting FDI in the industry of service sector, ma'am. Ma'am, especially the startups, especially in this new age technologies like robotics and...
Are you sure about it?
Ma'am, recently I read one, so...
Okay, any other industry?
Yes, ma'am. In the second is the defense manufacturing, ma'am, because of industry, defense industrial corridor.
Where do we do defense manufacturing in Uttar Pradesh?
Ma'am, there is a BrahMos manufacturing center in Lucknow, ma'am, and this is going to increase because of defense industrial corridor which is coming in the Bundelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh, ma'am.
You have passed out from SRCC, done your BCom honours. Tell me, Shivangi, why should we pay more to our domestic helps and how will it help our economy? From solely economic perspective, please tell me, why should we pay them more?
Ma'am, when we are paying more to our domestic help, ma'am, it will enhance the productivity and it will also enhance the sense of satisfaction, job satisfaction.
Any macroeconomic variable that it will impact?
Yes, ma'am, it will enhance the demand of in the economy as a whole, because poor have a large tendency to spend their income, ma'am.
Very good. Shivangi, do you know what is patriarchal bargain?
Ma'am, I've heard of it, yes.
It's a sociological term?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you're not aware of it?
Ma'am, I'm not aware of the concept in detail, ma'am.
Please tell me, what do you understand by fiscal stimulus?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, fiscal stimulus is basically the policy stimulus or policy stimulus that the government tries to bring in through more public spending, so as to enhance aggregate demand in the economy, ma'am.
Shivangi, you are interested in doing yoga.
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell me 3 asanas which women should not do when they are pregnant.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, firstly, they should not do Surya Namaskar. Ma'am, secondly, then they should not do... Ma'am, presently I can recall.
It's okay. Shivangi, my last question to you is a situation in which, let's say, you become the civil servant that you desire to become. But there is a superior of yours who looks at you in a certain way that you're uncomfortable with. There are no advances, nothing. How will you handle this situation? You're just uncomfortable with the way he looks at you.
Ma'am, in this situation, because there are no overt advances towards me, but there is a perception of my being uncomfortable, ma'am.
Is it a perception? You are actually uncomfortable. It's not a perception. No one else is judging you. It causes you discomfort. 5 times when you go to his office to get a file signed or to speak to him, it makes you uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am, it is a serious work environment problem that I will be facing, ma'am. And yes, I will be taking some steps. It will depend on the options that I have. Maybe in our organization, there is a senior person to my immediate senior, ma'am, or there is internal complaints committee. So if I have a persistent sense of being uncomfortable with my own experiences, then I will definitely approach these within institution mechanisms.
So talking is not an option.
Ma'am, I believe the person with whom I am uncomfortable over a sustained period. So that will not be talking directly to that person might not be effective.
Thank you, Shivangi. All the best.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Continuing your talk about sexual harassment, are you aware, if I ask you some of the lacunas as of now in the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act, anything would come to your mind or everything is fine in that regard?
Ma'am, a major lacuna that comes is, ma'am, we have a very good act, but the implementation aspect is lacking, ma'am. Ma'am, we have to ensure that how many industries or how many units that are supposed to set up those internal complaints committee, how much they are functional, and if they are functional, what is the process they are taking when they are looking at these complaints? What is the step?
So what kind of powers the internal committee has?
Ma'am, the powers include firstly to register the complaints, ma'am, and secondly to have in-house investigation about this. And if there are prima facie some evidence is there, ma'am, they can take recommend it to a higher level, or they can take some.
Yeah, they cannot take any action, right?
Ma'am,
Or they are allowed to take.
Ma'am, I'm not sure about this particular aspect.
Okay,
ma'am.
that's the major shortcoming this act is supposed to. In talks, usually
Thank you,
debate
ma'am.
is there. What is blockchain technology, Shivangi?
Ma'am, blockchain is an emerging technology, ma'am. It is basically a distributed ledger, which within a participant members, it provides a time-stamped and a transaction stamped fixing to a transaction basically, and it continues. It's
So
a chain.
what are its practical applications? What are areas we can use it?
Ma'am, there are a number of practical applications.
Particularly to governance?
Ma'am, for governance, it can be for securing a land records, ma'am. Ma'am, secondly for
Land records?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of usage do you see of blockchain there?
Ma'am, because blockchain by its design itself has capability of not being altered easily. So, ma'am, when we have land records, we can check the fraudulent alterations that can happen in land records, ma'am.
What is the present system of recording?
Ma'am, because land records are a state subject, there are a lot of uneven steps that has been taken by the governments. Some states have really moved well on this front, while other states have to pick up, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Any other usage you can think of?
Yes, ma'am, for central bank digital currency, which the present RBI is also thinking about. So, it might modify this technology, but it will be, as per the latest information, it will be based on blockchain technology, ma'am. And ma'am, thirdly, it can also be used in financial systems, security of financial systems, especially health records, keeping our health records safe and giving access to only those who have the authority to access them.
Do you think health records are misused now?
Ma'am, because we are trying to move to a digital health record setup, so then the problem may arise, because it is also linked to insurance setup.
Okay. And if I ask you, what is the insurance coverage of Indian population as of today? What do you think? What percentage of people have been insured?
Ma'am, it's a very low percentage that has insurance cover, medical insurance cover, ma'am.
Take a guess how much population is covered.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, it is around maybe 28% or 30%.
And what about drone? Can you tell me some of applications of drone technology?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, drone has a lot of applications, ma'am. It could be in agriculture, like spraying pesticides. Secondly, the drone technology has for monitoring our borders. Thirdly, it could be for entertainment purpose, like the drone light and music show, ma'am. And it could be also for delivery system, like in urban areas where huge traffic is there. For delivery purpose, it can be used, ma'am. Ma'am, for aerial mapping, for in disaster management, to take the record of forest fires, etc., ma'am. Ma'am, also in governance, in terms of we have urban planning, and we have.
Okay. The current disaster management framework, what kind of, are you aware of Hyogo framework regarding it? Hyogo framework?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What are its components?
Ma'am, Hyogo framework is an international framework which basically talks about reducing disaster impacts by taking a management approach to disaster management. So it's basically says,
what all steps have been elaborated in the framework?
Well, firstly, it says that government has to take primary responsibility for disaster management, ma'am. Then secondly, we have to invest in disaster resilient structures. Ma'am, thirdly, we have to use traditional technologies as far as possible in reducing the cost of disaster, ma'am, economic as well as human, ma'am. Ma'am, fourth is also creating involving community-based disaster management.
What about
ma'am.
Rehabilitation?
Ma'am, rehabilitation is there, ma'am. Yes, it is talking about building better, so that when the next we are more resilient in facing the recurring cycle of disasters, ma'am.
Okay, and if I ask you, which natural disaster has the greatest impact on Indian economy?
Ma'am, I believe it is landslides, ma'am.
Landslides?
Yes, ma'am.
What about cyclones?
Ma'am, cyclones is there, ma'am, but in the level of priority maybe. landslides, and then cyclones. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that are the two major. Can you decipher any reasons for more number of landslides nowadays?
Ma'am, they are both natural as well as man-made. Ma'am, natural being the changing pattern of climate and rainfall. Ma'am, because we are getting more concentrated rainfall in shorter periods.
What is that called?
Ma'am, flash flood,
Cloudburst.
Cloudburst.
Okay, that is one reason. Any other reason?
Then second is also unplanned development.
Natural. If we stay to the natural reasons, can you see some other reasons as well?
Yes, ma'am. Because we have mapping of this landslide prone areas, we have seen areas which have high slopes, steep slopes, especially in Western Ghats and our Himalayas region. Ma'am, this is one reason, one cause.
Anything about glacier melting?
Yes, ma'am. Glacier melting is happening across the world because of increased global temperatures.
Okay,
global warming.
Specific to India, can you connect the both of them?
Ma'am, recently we had, like last year we had that Rishi Ganga glacial melt, and that led to our power plant, hydro power plants also being affected by them. And ma'am, glacial melting is also leading to enhanced rise of Himalayan lakes, glacial meltwater lakes. So, and ma'am, there is a increasing threat that they are inherently unstable. Because they are made up of natural moraines or banks. So, if the water level increases in them, so ma'am, it could lead to glacial lakes burst, ma'am, which can cause landslides downstream.
Okay, so has stability of glaciers been impacted due to climate change?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the structure has changed. Anything else you can relate?
Ma'am, in terms of
glaciers only. Effect of climate change on glaciers. One is you're saying structural instability has been caused. Any other thing comes to your mind?
Ma'am, I believe because of climate change, the renewal of glaciers in terms of snow cover that they used to get annually, that is also getting changed, ma'am. So the glacier melting was a natural process even before climate change, but it was balanced with new ice accumulation. Ma'am, but today, because of climate change, not only has the rate of melting enhanced, but the rate through which there was ice accumulation, that has also been affected, ma'am.
Okay, my last question to you. What do you understand by albedo?
Ma'am, albedo is the reflectivity of a surface. It depends on the various characteristics of the surface, like ice surfaces have higher albedo because they reflect more energy, and surfaces like dark, like urban infrastructure, dark colored roads,
they have less of it.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I ask you which would have higher albedo, the Arctic ice or the Antarctic ice?
Ma'am, I believe it would be Antarctic ice because its scale, geographical spread is more.
Okay, and if I ask you, does ice covers North Pole, specifically North Pole or South Pole? Is ice cover there on North Pole and South Pole? Are you aware?
Ma'am, I can logically say, but I'm maybe.
Okay. What guess you would take?
Ma'am, yes, there will be ice cover on North Pole and South Pole both.
No, actually South Pole is not covered with ice. Good. Thank you.
Shivangi, can you take one more question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You'll agree with me, Shivangi, that if the country has to progress, then bridging gender-based skill gap is need of the time. So, equipping women with new age skills will boost workforce tremendously. Now, you imagine yourself as a member of the Indian Administrative Service. The Secretary of the Department has given you the job of preparing an implementable action plan to ensure that this area is really touched upon so that this gap is bridged. So what will be the points you will be mentioning in your action plan report?
So, because women in India, they have different needs urban women and rural women. So I will firstly broadly categorize my plan, implementation plan, in urban women and the rural women. Ma'am, starting from urban women, I believe they have good education skill, good education background. So we need to skill them in emerging technologies. For example, digital technologies firstly. So second is the area of health technologies, which is seeing emerging demand. So in case of rural women, so because they have traditional skills which can be tapped, the skills I will look forward is mentoring support, marketing linkages, so that we can make them come together in maybe self-help groups or farmer producer organizations, and we give them some financial skills in terms of operating basic bank accounts, saving, transfers, etc., so that they can be linked to income generating activities, and they can market their products.
The area of soft skills, how will you give them a sense of leadership?
Sir, in the area of leadership, sir, I believe we have to give them a nudge, because in whatever area, leadership is across every area, be it management, be it policing, or be it any field, industry, any field. So if you give them decision making power, sir, and gradually support them, so they will inherently take out their leadership qualities which they have already in them, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Your interview is over, Shivangi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Come, Shivangi. So, how was your experience, Shivangi?
I was a bit nervous, sir.
That's good. You should be nervous somewhat, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That adds to your performance. You should not be carried away by nervousness, that's the only thing. But your interview has been excellent. In one word, excellent. All the qualities of head and heart are there in you to be a successful civil servant. So, we have no doubt in our mind that you will be doing exceedingly well in the interview at your personality test. Because the way you kept on engaging each and every member in the last 30 minutes was wonderful. You are a spirited woman, and with a lot of passion and honesty of purpose, basic integrity is there in you. Always you kept on smiling, smile on our face, a very radiant face. That is a very good quality in any civil servant. You could speak clearly, confidently, and your ideas were at times very unique and very constructive. So these are the qualities normally observed at the time of interview. Based on this only, your performance is considered and marks is given. So if you ask us, we are not the members of the UPSC, but had we been members of the UPSC, we would have given you nothing less than 200. So if you have done well in your written examination, we are pretty sure you may be in the top 100.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, with those, I don't want to tell you much about this. About your dress and all, you will be going in sari, or you will be
wearing? Sir, I will be going in suit, sir. It's a majorly almost like this.
Like this only. You are not comfortable wearing a sari?
No, sir.
Okay, okay, that's all right. If you are not comfortable, don't even try that.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to, your hand movement, I know it's natural to you. I know it's very difficult for you to restrict your hand movement. But can you, while talking to members, can you restrict your hand movements a bit?
So I will try.
Try, because it's very natural. Try to keep both your hands like this, so that you are conscious of the fact that your hands are here.
Yes,
so
sir.
You don't have to, because while speaking and all that, it comes naturally to you. Okay. If you are able to do that,
yes,
it will be better.
I will try.
It will be better. Otherwise, all full marks to you. We have gone through a difficult journey for a married woman with a kid. It's very difficult to crack examination like this. It's a very tough examination, and you have almost at the threshold of success. And God willing, and with our blessings, you will be doing very well. So all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.